Hello, Chris, and all of you in TV land. This is our internet land. My name is Matt Cadman. This is my wife, Jerica. We're here at Shady Grove Ranch, our home of the past 8.5 years. Our mission out here is to produce nutrient-dense, pasture-raised meats and eggs. We're going to be expanding into vegetables and fruits hopefully soon. But our mission is to produce nutrient-dense foods in order to help people recover from chronic diseases.
So Matt and I met in 2004, and when I met him, I thought he had an oddity about him. He couldn't eat raw fruits or vegetables because he was diagnosed with this autoimmune disease called ulcerative colitis, which at the time I couldn't remember how to say, but anyway, he had these little pills he had to take, and that was just something about him that was interesting and odd, and we didn't really think much more about it. But after we got engaged, he had a very severe flare-up and ended up being hospitalized. At the time, I was probably a junior in college studying engineering, and he had already graduated and was working in industry at that time. And we, did all the doctor's things. He took the antibiotics, he took the steroids, kept the kidney stones from the steroids. He had all these complications and terrible, And the doctor said, well, you have a C. diff infection. Have you been around elderly people or small children? And we were thinking, well, we're in college. No, not really, but whatever, Okay, we'll be more careful about bacteria. And they said, okay, well, you need to eat a low residue diet. Have you been doing that? And we were like, what is that? And they said, well, no fiber. You need to basically eat really processed food. And doctor's orders. So anyway, he left the hospital, and it's a long story, but anyway, he left the hospital. He was very regimented about following instructions, and less than a year later had another severe flare-up, lost about 45 pounds, and it was the same story again. They put him on steroids, they put him on antibiotics. It was just a terrible experience. He had blood transfusions because his hemoglobin was down to like a level 6, which is you can't walk upstairs anymore. And it was at that point, the doctors were still saying, well, there's nothing really you could have done to prevent this. This is just what happens. It's hereditary. You're going to get it no matter what. And we thought, well, a few years ago he was pretty healthy, and we just felt like there's got to be more to it than that. So we started really researching. That was my kind of field of expertise, was research. And we stumbled upon these folks that were selling grass-fed beef at the time. This was back in 2007, and grass-fed was not a thing in East Texas. People were like, why wouldn't you feed them corn?
Yeah.
And anyway, so we started looking for healthier food and learned about pasture-raised meats and raw milk and whole foods and traditional preparation techniques like fermented foods and bone broth and things like that. Real butter, real animal fats, and so we started eating that way. But we were driving all over East Texas to find the foods that we needed to heal him. And we thought, we really want to help people like him. He actually had started going back to medical school, had started preparing to go to medical school, had gone to part-time in his engineering job. And we thought, the answer is not in the medical industry. They're not interested in this kind of stuff. The answer is in real food, and we need to produce it. So we decided to be farmers instead of engineers.
I didn't know your story, that made you guys kind of get into this. But that's just right down my alley of what I see on a regular basis. And people are lost. They're going down the road that you went, and people are finally starting to wake up and realize that, this pill, it may dampen my symptoms temporarily.
Sure.
It may help reduce the symptoms. It may make me feel better a little bit in the beginning, but to stay on that the rest of my life has major health implications.
Absolutely.
And major side effects. And so I think people are realizing that there's got to be a more natural way. I think you're a living example of that. I certainly see it on a weekly basis, and it's just encouraging and inspiring to hear other people spreading that message. And so that's awesome that we're on the same page there.
Can I add one little thing
Sure.
there? Okay. So Jerica just she's dealing with each other. Jerica mentioned briefly about the beginning of our story. I'm not going to go into detail too much, but I developed ulcerative colitis. I had one of the worst cases I've ever read about for about 10 years. And, you know, 1 year in a 12-month period, we accumulated about $100,000 worth of debt in 1 year. I was on $600 of medication per month for years. We did all the wonder drugs, the Remicade, the Imuran, the you know, all these things that are like $1,000 and $2,000 a dose treatment. And there's, I mean, you know, if any of you have read Jordan Rubin's, you know, account of his struggle with Crohn's disease, mine was right there. And I have not read anybody's that was worse than either one of ours. Okay. When we started doing all this, it was not a miracle cure overnight. It took me 4 years to get off the medication, and it was a long, hard process. It was whenever I do tell my full story, it's devastating. It's downright disgusting. The things that happen to my body. And anyway, long story short, we started farming, and I started having a flare up right when we started farming. Like, oh great, I can't do anything, you know. I mean, my hemoglobin was down to 5 multiple occasions, you know, which is, you're about to die. Yeah. And anyway, we just kept going. We kept learning. I do take some supplements. Wish I didn't have to, but I've been probably irrevocably damaged, you know. So I'll never be able to fully heal the way that I haven't taken a pill for ulcerative colitis in 7 years, 8 years.
And food was a big part. Changing what you used to eat versus what you eat now, I'm sure is night and day different.
Yeah.
And it's such the quality of life is so much better, because who wants to be on pills and hospitalized every year? You know.
I mean, it's really easy to talk to the people that are struggling with an autoimmune disease or something like that, because they see the horrible results. For the people that are like, well, you know, I'm pretty healthy, and then you start talking about their digestive health, and you know, have insomnia or headaches,
cavities,
cavities and stuff. And so, like, a lot of people have just forgotten what life ought to be like, and they just say, well, I'm good. Well, okay, you know, step back a minute and think what life might be like, and it helps them get over that barrier of $5 a dozen for eggs. I mean, you know, I don't want to pay more than $1.50. Okay, well, the people that have diseases, okay, you can change out your $700 a month medication for a really good meal and still have like hundreds of dollars left per month, you know?
It's a preventative mindset of investing in quality food that has nutrients that our body needs versus the $4 or $5 fast food that's in your lap in a couple minutes, but has major health consequences. Maybe not in your 20s, maybe not in your 30s, but at some point down the road it catches up, and so.
You know, like, I was one of those that didn't even know that I was unhealthy. You know, I had joint problems in my teens. I mean, I remember I went and got an MRI for my knee, and we couldn't figure out what was wrong. Why was I having joint pain in my teens? And I blamed, you know, well, I ride horses, I must have hurt it, you know. And then I got to college and I had back problems all the time. And I said, well, it's because I carry this heavy backpack all the time. And, you know, had all the digestive upset, and I had dental like, I have had terrible dental problems all through my childhood. And, you know, we get headaches and have, you know, just different little health things. And you just think, well, it's normal. Everybody gets that. And, you know, when we started eating better, the joint problems went away. I mean, more or less. Now I work way harder than I did then, and I still have some pain sometimes. But anyway, the dental decay stopped in my 30s, you know, and it's just like, well, how did that happen? And that's not supposed to happen to, you know, when you get old, you start having more problems. And anyways, it's just been really neat for me to see, like, I was so unhealthy then, and I was young, and, you know, what would it have been like if I had been eating well back then? So.
To the consumer, it's all about definitions, you know. To the consumer, grass-fed means, well, the cow eats grass.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, but to those of us in the industry, you have to step back and say, well, what is grass? You know, what falls underneath that category? Because they eat legumes and herbs and grass and things like that. And corn's actually a grass. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
Corn is a grass.
Did not know that.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's this organization called the American Grass-Fed Association. They've defined what you're allowed to feed a grass-fed animal. Well, we don't agree with that because you're allowed to feed soy hulls and beet pulp and lots of different processed things that, you know, are sort of grass, but not really, you know. So now, from a government perspective or from a USDA, you know, if you see grass-fed on the label in the grocery store, what that can mean now, because it's been deregulated, is that the company has an internal definition. The company that produces the beef has an internal definition that says our cattle eat some grass, therefore they are grass-fed, and all that company has to do is demonstrate that they have adhered to their own definition of what grass-fed means. That's what grass-fed means on a label. But at Shady Grove Ranch, grass-fed means they eat grass and they eat hay, which is just grass that has been cut and baled so they have some food in the wintertime. Okay? We don't feed any energy or protein supplements besides that. We feed, you know, we free choice salt and minerals. And again, you know, half this battle is education. Okay? There's a lot of producers out there that are doing things halfway right, and they say they're grass-fed, and all they feed is grass and minerals, but then you go look at their minerals, and it's actually a protein lick tub or a molasses tub that has all these carbohydrates and fats and proteins in it that are usually derived from genetically modified, 99.9% of the time derived from genetically modified corn and soy and cottonseed. Okay. Again, back to the definitions, the grass-fed, well, almost all cows are started out grass-fed. I mean, most cows if you even go to feedlots, they started out on a pasture somewhere, mom and pop operation. They might have had a little handful of oats here and there. That's probably not a big deal. But the problem is that then they take them from the grass-fed lot and start finishing them on corn. That's why most cattle in the U.S. don't perform on grass anymore, is because of the industry. The industry wants a tall, skinny cow. They want one of me. They want a tall, skinny cow they can buy at the sale barn for, you know, not too expensive. That might weigh 800 pounds, and take it to a finishing lot and double the weight in about 6 months. Okay, and they're going to double that weight. You know, they're going to transition the cow first to get the guts used to the grain, and then straight out feedlot after that. It's about, you know, 90 days of really intense, high energy feed, and it can be any kind of feed. It can, you know, there's an article recently in Illinois. Red Skittles were all over the highway. Like, why are there all these red Skittles? I mean, like a whole 18-wheeler load of red Skittles turned over, and they're everywhere. And what were they doing with just red Skittles? Well, they got rejected, and they were going to a feedlot.
Oh, wow.
They were going to feed them to the cows.
They feed cows all kinds of things. I mean, anything that's sweet or chicken poop. Did you know that they feed cows chicken poop?
No.
And you could be organic and do that.
Wow.
That's okay
Because
from the organic standard.
It's a natural substance, so that's permitted in the organic program. Sustainable farming, you know, what you'll find is, I mean, if you were to visit 10 different farms like ours, they would all be different. They would all have a different goal, different principles, you know, different values. And so it's really important as a consumer to find a farm that matches your values. And that's why we're big fans of the local model, because there's a lot of accountability, there's a lot of just trust building. You know, you can ask the farmer questions. People shoot me emails all the time like, do you do this? And they just want to know. They just need to know so that they feel good about buying it. And sustainable means, you know, we're trying to move all of the food production to the farm and trying to use every part of it. So when we harvest an animal, you know, we're asking our butcher, hey, can we have this? Can we have that? You know, we'd even eventually
all the weird parts.
Yeah, we'd even like to eventually be able to do something with all the hides and hooves and, you know, everything.
So let me just try to give a brief summary. You know, sustainable needs to be environmentally sustainable. It needs to be sustainable for the actual farmers and their family producing it, and it needs to be sustainable for the community around it. Okay, you know, 70-hour weeks are just normal.
And there's a lot of challenges, you know. 70 hours wouldn't be a big deal if it weren't for the hurdles.
Yeah, yeah. There's usually a big emergency once every at least couple months. So the more variables from nature and wild acts of God, we'll call them, that we can sort of plan for, you know, the better for our family. Now the interesting part about that is the tendency is to go more and more protective for the animals, and all of a sudden you look up and it's like, I got 40,000 chickens in a poultry house that doesn't move and they never see grass. No, that's not where we're going. But we're trying to make infrastructure that's more and more weather resistant, that doesn't blow away when you have 70-mile-an-hour winds. And we're really achieving that, I think, without compromising the integrity of the production and the nutrient density cycle. I want Jerica to at least tell about this product that we just found. Don't worry, we're not using it, but the certain product.
Okay, so chickens cannot manufacture beta-carotenes. They have to harvest them from their feed. The way God made chickens is He created these little beta-carotene harvesters. They love grass. They love grasshoppers, which eat grass, and they go out and they eat all these things. And they pack it into this really beautiful little package. It's an egg with a beautiful, what's supposed to be yellow or orange or sometimes even reddish, an egg yolk, depending on what the chicken ate. Our chickens are out on grass, and all the color that's in their yolks comes from what they eat. And we do not feed any corn. It's part of our program. We opt for no genetically modified grains, and corn is one of them. It's one of the big ones. And the yellow of the corn can contribute some beta-carotene coloring in the egg yolk. And so, commercial fed chickens that are eating yellow corn, they'll have some natural coloring in their stuff. But the deficiency that they have in color, because they're not out on grass, has to be made up somehow. And so what they've done is they've basically created this food-grade pigment where they'll send you a paint chip thing, and you can measure the color of your egg yolks as is from, in the commercial eggery, and then you can decide, all right, what do my customers prefer? Do they prefer a number 6 or a number 7? How dark do I want my yolks? And I got to sprinkle that much powder into the feed so the egg yolks start to turn that color.
This is a real product,
this
folks.
We're
not making
product.
This up.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
It's kind of scary. Again, you have to ask yourself the question: why aren't the yolks yellow? It's because the chickens aren't eating enough grass.
You cannot have one of those to farm for them. They require a stationary house. Okay, and they have reasons, but basically it comes down to the dollar. You can't. It takes too much labor to move that thing around. We have to move the net fences, and then we got to move the structure. We got to do it twice a week. You got to move the waters, and you got to have irrigation all over the place, and Okay, and they're still charging $6-7 a dozen for these eggs, and maybe 4 or 5 or whatever. But about the same price as mine, probably more. And but they're stationary houses, so they've got 3,000 hens around the stationary house. And sure, okay, now you can, this week you're gonna have this half of the pasture, and the next week we're gonna make them have this half. It's never gonna regrow fast enough. They say they're pastured. Not compared to me, they're not.
Yeah.
So they have whatever 35, 25, whatever square feet per hen. This coop, it moves around the whole farm.
Wow.
And in a year, I mean, I'm sure each hen probably has hundreds of square feet on our range, because they're actually moving so much and they're benefiting the whole farm, and this is this huge symbiotic relationship between the chickens and the grass and the cows and the pigs and the turkeys and everything. Have you ever heard of Weston Price, Chris?
I have, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the Weston Price Foundation was what brought us to realize that not only can you eat butter and bacon from pasture-raised animals and everything, but these are actually superfoods.
Yeah.
Animals store their probably 3 most important nutrients, vitamin A, B, and K2, in their protein or in their fat?
Fat.
In their fat.
Yeah.
They're fat-soluble vitamins. You can't get vitamin A or D or K2 unless it comes in a little fat globule, if you will. Okay? So, and it doesn't mean you have to go eat chunks of fat, but it does mean that you need to eat the yolk of the egg with the white. If you throw the yolk away, you just threw away all the vitamin A and D and K2, and not to mention all the omega 6s and 3s, and your your beneficial agents
Absolutely.
that Chris knows way more about than I do. We sell in Shreveport, in Longview, and in Tyler. In Tyler specifically, we sell at Granary, and they do a lot of our eggs and chicken. A little bit of our beef, yeah. And Vitamins Plus, they do kind of they do our pork as well. So Vitamins Plus, they do pork, chicken, beef, and do they do eggs? Yeah. And they do eggs there too as well.
Which is Drug Emporium, correct?
Drug Emporium,
okay.
Vitamins Plus, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we also do a delivery in Tyler because, you know, we can't put all 150 or whatever of our products in every store. So if you want something that is not at one of those stores, we do a delivery the first Thursday of every month. Dennis Drive in Tyler. And
first Thursday of the month, every month. Yep.
Contact us. It's on our website. We tell you how to do it. You place an online order. We pack your order the day before and send you an invoice, and you bring a check with you to drop.
Well, guys, I really, really appreciate it. It's been very interesting. It's been a learning experience. That's part of the reason I wanted to come do this, was just to learn more about where this quality food comes from, but also to enlighten other people. I kind of live in this, you know, food is medicine realm. I realize it, but it's great to hear, you know, that local farmers are realizing that and have had life-changing experiences as well, and then devoted their life and jobs to that is really cool to hear. So I appreciate you guys.
All right. Thanks for coming.